I myself am looking for the gaming landscape to freeze over. This is the Kings of Rice,
This is Ultima.
and this is MGT Cast.
What up?
So, um, I was sitting around the other night thinking of, topics, thinking of topics we could talk about. I mean, normally we don't, we honestly, like, normally we don't really think of these things in advance, normally, only when we got, like, a big one,
Yeah.
like one that's gonna last over an hour. Um, those ones are usually the ones we think of in advance, and after that, after that, it's mostly just things that catch our eye. And I just so happen to think of the cross-platform gaming. Like where, for those who don't know what it is, for some reason, if you already don't know, it is like, say you take an Xbox One game and you can play it with Sony people, and you can also play it with PC people. And to quote an article from redbull.com on March 18th, they said this week, gaming hell froze over. Microsoft dropped the stunning news that it would be opening up the Xbox One to support cross-platform multiplayer with other platforms, including PC, and without naming it directly, Sony's rival PlayStation 4. So,
Ooh.
so this was mostly talked about. I think Rocket League was like gonna
The
be at the forefront of this,
yeah.
and I find it interesting um, that this was really never implemented.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, technical rivals aside, I mean, you think to yourself, you go, oh, it's because they don't want to have, bless you, they don't want to have, I guess you can say, open channels to their rival for, for I guess pillow talk.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, what do you think? Like, why do you like, why is it they never, in all the years that most of us have spent gaming, which is basically all of our lives, like, why is it like now they decided to, you know, why is it, you wouldn't normally you wouldn't tend to think Microsoft were the going to be the first ones to do this. Like,
Um.
I don't know. What do you think? Like,
Well, I think part of the issue before was I don't think there was a company that had the um what's the word? I don't think they had the infrastructure to put something like this in place. Um, at least on a consistent basis. And so I feel like I feel like now Microsoft's gotten to the point where one, you could see they're really trying to unify Windows 10. Um, so I think for part of it for them is that one, Nintendo's server. I mean, Nintendo. Wow, they are not even in this conversation. Why does Nintendo? Microsoft's servers, you know, um, maybe outside of just the general Xbox Live stuff, has been pretty good, and anything they've had that like the Azure servers and stuff like that, they've been really good. So maybe they just feel comfortable with it right now, but also like in a way, Microsoft kind of has a vested interest in PC gaming and Xbox gaming because I mean, even though it's sort of opened up to Apple products a little more in recent years, like computer gaming. Um, most PC gamers are probably running Windows, so I think they just see an opportunity to, um,
to make things more universal, maybe.
yeah, especially with like I said, they're really trying to push this whole Windows 10 like unification.
Yeah, with
Um,
all of its other products.
yeah, PCs and Xbox included, and so it, um I do think it's a genuine olive branch they're extending to Sony, but at the same time, I can't lie. Like there is a little bit of it's like I mean, one that's too good of an opportunity for them to pass up because now they just put the ball in Sony's court. Where if Sony's like, yeah, no, we're not doing that, then now they're the jerks. You know what I mean? Like they're not they don't want to put this whole you know console war thing to bed.
Well, I mean, technically it'll never be put to bed. They just want to,
I
they just
but
want to give it more opportunities to, I guess you could
die
say,
down.
corner the market on certain things.
Yeah,
I mean, in a way, Microsoft, this is going to be a little bit different than cross-platform. It's going to be more like cross-generational because, you know, I mean, Microsoft has started this like kind of thing already with their backwards compatibility because
yeah,
like multiplayer games that are on the 360, you can play it on your Xbox One, but still play with 360 people.
yeah,
So this is like, it's cross-platform, but also cross-generational. So they're kind of cornering the market on this right now. And like, I guess I don't want to say like, if Sony doesn't take this, they might be a fool's move, but um, it'll be it'll be a way to I guess to even out some ground between the two.
yeah,
Because we do, I mean, most of my friends like, most of my friends that I know and actively play with, I mean, we all have, Xbox Ones, but
yeah. I
um,
only know one, maybe two people who. I don't think I know anyone that predominantly plays PlayStation 4 except for like one person.
I mean, for me, like, I guess you can say more of the, I guess you can say
I know
more of
some that
the,
split time, but
yeah,
I only know
because
one like
for,
dominant
yeah, for me,
PlayStation gamer.
I know like a whole bunch of people who, at the time, you know, back before PlayStation got, before Sony took all this heat about, their servers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had quite a few friends, younger friends, like a couple years younger than me, that I went to continuation to with that were just playing PlayStation. So I mean, it would be a nice thing to see for games that are not, I guess you can say not, the hell's the word, not exclusive.
Yeah,
To be played cross-platform. Say like when Dark Souls 3 comes out. That'd be dope if I can play with my friends who are getting it on the PlayStation.
yeah,
Because that would be something else. I mean, but then again, you got to think about like the technical limitations that goes with that because then you have to be able to mesh the infrastructure. But I
yeah,
mean, if Sony's willing, it'd be pretty dope, get to work on that. I mean,
yeah.
I don't see that, I don't see that coming as like a universal thing for a long time if it goes down like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it would certainly help in the long run, so people
Yeah,
don't, so you don't get, I guess you could say, chastised about having one or the other, even though you still will get chastised only because of people's personal preferences.
yeah.
But
I I
I
think um I think what the biggest issue going forward is I'm assuming what essentially is happening here is Microsoft has a I don't know has either servers or some they have some structure in place that can allow this, which is I'm assuming why they would announce this specifically. Like they have something that they can put out to developers
Yeah, so
because
they
that's
can,
basically what it is.
yeah,
Um,
they're setting a
it's
structure for people
yeah,
to
the
modify and to
yeah, and
make it
it's like if you
universal.
want to yeah, and if you want to use it for your game, then you can do that, and we can do cross-platform play. So I think what the holdup for Sony might be, um, which they won't say, but I'm sure this is what everyone's thinking, or what is the obvious elephant in the room. if they have to go to Microsoft, to do this, like game developers, then more than likely, I'm assuming whether it's a small fee or not, that means that there's probably some sort of, unless this is completely free, but I doubt it is. I'm sure there's some form of fee that they have to pay Microsoft to use this.
Yeah.
So then now even games that are being developed for Sony's platforms, Microsoft's getting a cut of.
Yeah, so I mean
So
that could be another trouble that, Sony's trying to
so
avoid.
yeah, so I'm sure for them in their mind, that's like, ugh. But I mean, to be fair, I mean Microsoft caved and they put Blu-ray in the Xbox One, even though Sony's a big part of the Blu-ray
A Blu-ray
organization.
technology. Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
I mean they had to get with the times or they would, or
Yeah.
they would fail the next generation.
But I mean, what's the word? I don't know how to. I'll try to say this without sounding as Microsoft fanboy as possible. It, this is one of the benefits to putting your trust in Microsoft, is because as good as Sony is, and Sony's done really well this generation, and I'm not saying anything bad about Sony because yeah, they have some good games and good systems and whatever. I mean, heck, PlayStation 1 is probably one of my favorite systems of all time. The company backing PlayStation is Sony. The company backing Xbox is Microsoft. I don't know. Which company would you rather have backing you?
At least right now, from a technical standpoint, the answer is obvious.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously none of us work for Microsoft, and it sounds like an obvious sales pitch, but Microsoft is a computer company.
Yeah.
They've been doing this for for forever. You know,
And for what it's worth, I have an iPhone and a MacBook Pro too, and my brother works for Apple, so I mean, it's not even like I'm just some Microsoft shill.
see, the only reason why I don't buy Apple products is because normally they're too expensive,
I feel it.
and um,
I'll be honest, I only got an iPhone for what's it called, integration,
yeah. But
iTunes.
it's like, I mean, think about it. Like I said, like Microsoft is a computer company. They do this thing for a living. Whether or not from a technical standpoint, whether or not you're like a super pro at like, at this technical field, which I'm not. I'm only I mean, I guess as far as my education goes, I'm only an electronics engineer. So I
Yeah,
mean, I'm a hardware guy. I'm not a programming guy.
yeah.
So I would more than likely, I mean, trust the side that has technically um like they have the heritage for the stuff. Like, that you know this might even like if Microsoft were to go ahead and like like you said like do these server things where where even though they had maybe would have to pay a not like a fee or
Uh,
pay some compensation to use they may let's just hypothesize that they might even they might even get less security breaches
mm,
because then they can maybe like oh maybe they can have security technical powwows and fucking and then make it better for the rest of us in the long run it's all about like it almost like boils down to like are you willing to swallow your pride to make your fan base happy.
yeah.
But
I mean, that's
some
what it comes down.
I mean hardcore Sony you know fucking circle jerkers like will tell you that like that's not what we're that's not what we paid for when we bought our PlayStations. But I mean, what the hell, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Have you ever like you can't say you've never sat back one day and go like a non-exclusive game and go, damn, I wish I can play with my homeboy. Damn, I wish I can play
yeah.
this with like my family.
And
My family that don't live with us or whatever.
and here's another thing to think about. and just another positive that people probably wouldn't think about. Think about a game like take Titanfall.
Okay.
Um, the people that still play that game obviously really like that game, and like for good reason. It was a good game. It just didn't quite catch on. There's no single player campaign.
Like
I think
there's no depth
yeah,
to the
there's
game.
not a ton of depth, but like I think me personally, and I think a lot of other people, gameplay wise, I thought the game was really solid and it
Oh
was
yeah.
like very polished.
Mhm.
But right now, the player base isn't that big.
Yeah.
But games like that, now you're looking at, instead of like, well, it's a small player base on one system. Well, now you're pulling all these small, like, okay, there's a small player base on PlayStation, PC, Xbox, and so like it sort of it'll help keep certain game communities, I think,
Alive.
thriving longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
If the developer decides to put into this before they make their game.
Yeah, because then because there's if this becomes a thing, that's like one of the first options you get. It'd be like, hey, are we gonna make this are we gonna make this exclusive, non-exclusive? Because if
Yeah.
it's not gonna be exclusive, then are we gonna want to invest in the cross-platform? Then you can
Yeah.
have a bigger player base.
Yeah. And I don't even think every game needs to do it. I think this is more for games that have that multiplayer is a big
Yeah,
part of
say
their
say
functionality.
Call of Duty,
Call of Duty, yeah.
Battlefield,
Yeah.
um, you know,
Or games like Rocket League,
Rocket League, where
obviously, which is mostly, like obviously games where even if there is a single player part, a lot of the, playability or replayability comes from the multiplayer aspect.
yeah,
I think that's more what this is geared towards.
yeah.
I don't think, you know, games that are like I know The Last of Us had a multiplayer. I mean, obviously that's not a great, but a game like that, you
Yeah.
know, like I don't think that's one that you would need to have cross-platform play, because it's like, well,
Let's
most
just say
people are
like
experiencing that for the story. And
yeah, just for games that its multiplayer is its bread and butter. So so I mean, we'll
it's a
just
good thing.
I guess really we'll just wait to see like in the next couple of months to see what really happens
Yeah,
because,
see how it goes.
because there's a whole lot that could be done with this. Like a whole lot of good things and I mean, then again, a whole lot of bad things can come out of it too, but I'm not willing to maybe go into that because that's why shell out the bad now, you know, and have people thinking that hey, this could be a good idea and and you can shell out all those bad ideas when during the actual talks for the people that matter, the people that the people that can make this make this a reality. That's the only people who need to worry about what the negatives are to this, and then whether or not they can shell it out or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, in the end, they really it's really up to them of what they really what they really want for us in the end.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, only time can really tell. So I think we got a good talk in.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna have to I guess we'll stop it here.
I'll stop it here.
So again, we'll wait to see what the next few months really have to say about this, and I'm
We'll
pretty
see if
sure,
any major games in the future.
yeah, because that would be completely awesome. So with that said, this is the Kings of Rice.
This is Ultima.
Peace out. Have a good night.